Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brian and I are continuing the top 100 games of all time. This is for the 2021 edition, and now we're in 2022, so we're already gearing up to do this list in 10 months, 9 months, 11 months.
Yeah.
Whenever we feel like getting to it. But this segment is 70 through 61, which where's the start of my list? Where is it? There it is. So this segment is probably, let's see, let me make sure, because last time I got off track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 2 new ones on this segment, 3 rows, and then 4 fell.
I have 4 brand new ones.
All right.
3 that rose and 3 that fell.
Good deal. Okay, awesome. So I'm excited to see what those 4 new ones are. But without further ado, let's get started with number 70. And my number 70 is one of my 2 new ones on the list. It came out actually in 2021. Surprisingly, was on your top 10 of the year, which I was actually surprised to see, because I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about this, and I think it is a wonderful, fun racing game, and that is Cubitos. To be fair, I will say this box cover, I don't get it. A Lederhosen cheese, I really have no idea what this is supposed to be about. But with that aside, I haven't played a whole lot of racing games that I can think of. This might actually be the only one. I haven't played Camel Up. No, I've played Downforce. And I never tried Formula D or any of those. But I got this one just because I like John D. Clare. AEG does good work. I'm like, okay, well, it's 2021. Let me give it a shot. And this is a lot of fun. This is a push your luck dice draft. Well, not really dice drafting, but dice collection to where your dice basically indicate how your runner is going to make it around the track. And the tracks are unique. They have different icons on it that could help you on the way to the finish line. They have so many different types of racers for each color. It's absolutely fascinating. Now, the symbols on those dice are the same, but the powers of the racers are can vary dramatically. In fact, in the back of the rule book, you can kind of pick maybe like a type of game you want to play, and it tells you who to pick for that. It's so much fun. Like, this is not a game you take seriously. If you're a high strategy gamer and you're getting pissed off because you keep busting on pushing your luck, don't play this game. But if you just want to go in and I like push your luck. Like, I think because it's never put into a game where you're meant to take it seriously. It feels like a mechanic on its own that just needs to be put with like kind of party-esque games. But yeah, this one's actually a lot of fun at all player counts as well. So give it a shot.
All right. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. I'm not even sure where it falls on my list, so I'm not going to say
just in case. It's number 2. It's way up there.
That box cover just puts it over the top. I must say it does stand out though. Like, I know that the cover art is weird, but the colors like really pop.
Yeah.
So
yeah, honestly, they put so many different racers in the game. I think all they need is a map pack.
Oh yeah,
like four maps, like double-sided. That'd be 8. That would give you 12 total, because it comes with 4.
Right.
So that would be a lot. And I think that's all they need as an expansion is one big map pack.
Yeah, kind of do what Downforce does, just put up a little double-sided board.
Yeah, or Formula D. I know they had a bunch of different tracks, and that's really all you need. That gives you the challenge inherently. So we'll see.
All right. Well, my number 70 is one that I know is on your list somewhere. It's kind of an evergreen game at this point. It was 71 a couple of years ago. It was 84 last year, so it jumped back up to kind of where it was. And it's pretty much on here because of the solo play. I don't get to play it multiplayer because the theme kind of draws people off a little bit.
Oh,
Good
nice.
answer. This was one of the early ones that used the Automa, the Automa, whatever.
I think it was the first one, at least
Yeah.
by Stonemeyer.
Right. And it looks dry as hell, but if you've been in the hobby enough, I mean, everybody knows what this game is. I mean, you are you're fulfilling orders, growing your grapes and stuff to make wine, and dealing with the seasons and all that good stuff. There's a few expansions for it. I put the essential edition on here because I never had the original. I have the essential for this and for Tuscany. And it adds, the modular stuff you can throw in and add in and everything. It's a really good, beautiful game on the table. And this was kind of the one that I got it too late to the party on this one because I think, I would have played Scythe and Euphoria and stuff like that prior to this, and then found out that this one was really good solo, so got it and wasn't disappointed at all. And even though it's not a theme that would draw me in, the gameplay itself kind of rises above it,
Yeah.
Especially if you have the cool metal coins.
Yeah. No, this game is, I mean, God, when did this come out?
I have it right here. It was
2015.
Yep, right there. 2015.
The original came out in 2013. Then This version came out in 2015. Yeah, I mean, it's 2022. Shit, it's oh my God, 9 years ago, or 7 years ago. That's I mean, I would probably say it's definitely a modern classic.
Right.
If you're like, I like worker placement games, what should I get? If 20 people aren't telling you this one, then something went wrong.
Yeah, this one and Wingspan are probably my two favorite Stonemeyer of all of them. So.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. All right, yeah, good choice. So real quick before I go to my 69.
Yep.
Cubitos, I was trying to see if there was just anything. There is a forum that does have someone asking if there's an expansion for it. And some guy, I don't know, he says yes, the designer is working on it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's John D. Clare, like I think.
Oh yeah, he puts out crap.
Right. In fact, they'll probably be on Kickstarter for just the expansion. All right. Anyway, my number 69 is it's just go ahead. I don't have a segue because I thought of a joke. It's between two castles of because it's 69. I was gonna say like between two butt cheeks or something, just something really juvenile and stupid that is only funny to me. But yes, this is funny enough, another Stonemeyer game, back to back. This one has, for all intents and purposes, replaced Between Two Cities. It's not on my list. I didn't even consider it because this does that and more. So it's a very weird. This is a stupid name. We can't really think of anything, so let's just combine the two names. So it's long. I hate saying it, and but it merges both those games, the Castles of Mad King Ludwig and then Between Two Cities. And you basically are trying to organize tiles in a way that maximizes their points. And you're building two of them. And at the end of the game, you score both of them. And then your lowest score of the two is your final score. So you basically have a hand of tiles, and you pick one to put in one and one to put in the other, and you communicate with your neighbors to your left and right that, I mean, you can't focus all in on one because that could be 100 points, and your other one that you forgot about is 3, and your final score is going to be 3. So this has such beautiful synergy and co-op nature with your neighbors. And then also includes just the fun tile laying of the wacky nature of building your castle. It's an absolute blast. I love everything about it. I even have an app, and what I this isn't, it's not sponsored by Stonemaier. They did mention it in their expansion rulebook, but they do have an app where you can scan. You can't even see it. Why am I showing my phone? Where you can scan your tile and it automatically like will tally everything for you. It's beautiful. It's not an official Stonemaier product, and it's actually kind of pricey of an app for just scoring. I'm really mad I actually paid for it, but it does really ease up the scoring aspect. I love this one. It's fantastic, and the expansion brings in a really, really good solo variant. I was very surprised at that. So that's my number 69, Between Two Castles of MKL. That's what I'm gonna start saying. BTCOMKL.
All right. Well, my number 69 is one that it's kind of been falling gradually just because I haven't gotten it played a whole lot. It was 51 a couple of years ago, 55 last year, 69 this year.
Real quick before I might interrupt you.
Yep.
This one, because we're still on the picture, was 56 last year. So it fell a couple spots.
This one was one that kind of got a sequel / re-implementation like 2 years ago. I still prefer this version, and that's The Voyages of Marco Polo.
Nice. This is a good one.
This one, the first thing everybody talks about that knows about this game is talking about the player powers that you start with. How everybody thinks that their player power is the most powerful thing in the game, but then you look at yours and you use yours and it's like, oh crap, he's got the most powerful. So it's just everybody's just maxed to the nines with their player powers, and I wish I had the expansion for it. It's just stupid expensive and out of print, but
yeah, I think I got it like eBay.
Yeah, but this is one of those games. It's at the beginning of the round. It plays 5 rounds. At the beginning of the round, you roll your 5 dice, and then you get to do something with 1 or more of your dice each time it's your turn. And what's unique about this is you use those dice to do these different actions. You can move, whatever. But it kind of has that mechanic that I can't think of the name of the game right now that I talked about in another list, but the higher the dice, the better the action, but the more expensive stuff costs. I want to say that was maybe Coimbra, I believe. We were talking about that at one point.
Yeah.
But so it's really cool because you get to use these dice, so you get to do something really awesome, but then it's going to cost you a bunch more. The weaker the action, the less it costs. So it's kind of a nice use of the dice for that. But so pretty much you are just moving around. You are fulfilling orders, making trade posts. All the cool stuff, all the little neat little camel meeples and all that stupid stuff. But you just kind of travel along, and try to get the most points at the end of the game. It's your typical Euro. It just has that little bit of randomness where you roll the dice and whatever you get at the beginning is kind of your thing. But I really like this one. That I played the Marco Polo 2 once and didn't care for it as much.
Interesting.
I mean, they say it streamlined it and stuff, but I just like this one, and maybe it's because I'm biased because I played this one more. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I haven't tried the second one. I can't find a copy.
Yeah. So this one is my preferred version. But yeah, I mean, this is
this one's really good. Not enough games, I think, and probably because it's a pain in the ass to balance, but not enough games do the broken player powers. I mean, you obviously have Cosmic Encounter. That's the whole game is that. But this one obviously was centered around the dice placement, but you had those broken powers. So maybe is it Daniel? It is Daniel Tassini, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe his mentality was, well, if they're all broken, then none of them are broken. Maybe that's how you do it. But yeah, not enough games do that. It's always asymmetrical powers with games, but it's like, all right, yeah, I'm a little bit different than you, but this one, it's like some of the powers can feel like I do everything for free. It's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, hey, whenever you get points, you get 50 extra. Like, why? But they're all amazing, and I have I've never played a game of this where I was like, oh nope, that's the one to play. And
Yep.
I have played other games like that. The first one that comes to mind is the Heir of Frankenstein, Abomination.
Yes.
And I was like, well, he's clearly the better one. But yeah, this one just really did it well.
Yep.
All right, my number 68. I am very surprised didn't end up higher on my list, but that's just the way the algorithm worked, considering I am currently doing a tournament on this one. But the more I thought about it, it does make sense kind of where it fell. And I'll explain it. You can go ahead and move on to the next one. As BattleCon. Devastation of Endines, whatever. I have everything for it. I have the newest Kickstarter where they upgraded everything. They did give you a storage box. I will give them that. They technically gave you 2 instead of designing a good 1 box. Anyway, I do have my issues with that Kickstarter, but this one, the reason, well, let me tell you what number it was. In 2019, it was 52. In 2020, it was 39. So it fell basically 30 spots, which is very strange because this seems to be the example of an opposite where the more you play a game, the higher it goes, which is the case for a lot of games that ended up going up. But the reason why this is where it's at, I love this game, but it's a mentality game. You have to be in the mood to play it. And I only play this game with one other person. That's the person I'm doing the tournament with. This game is not intuitive in any way. It's so hard to teach people, which is why I can't just be like, oh man, you like Mortal Kombat? You like Street Fighter? Well, let's check out this game. It's 2D fighting chess. You have to understand your character. You have to understand the opponent's character. The nuances, the keywords, there's a lot to this game. But once you get through all that, probably we should do a top 10 learning curve games, because I guarantee you this would be on the list.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, it is, in my opinion, still to this day, one of the best head-to-head games. There are 90 fighters for this. Maybe a little higher than 90. Each of them unique, roughly. There are some that are, oh, well, this guy uses potions. Oh, this guy uses alcohol. They play kind of similar, but they are different. They all have their backstory. It's in their Endines world. It's this anime bullshit, yada yada weeby world that they've created that I'm going to get a grand chronicle, so I'll finally understand who any of these people are. But you get so many cool combos, so many cool thematic fightings. I can't tell you, the tournament, we broke it up into different categories because there's novice, intermediate, and advanced. We did 2 tournaments at 5, I think, fighters in each of them. So 10 in each of the brackets. That's 30 fighters out of 90. And it's gone back and forth. One tournament, I'll sweep it I'll win every time. The next one, he sweeps it. It is insane. But no one ever gets to experience that because it's a slog of a rule book. And to teach it, I have taught this game to people, but man, it's a lot. And it is a shame because I do really, really like it. And there's nothing else out there that's like it. Like the fact that each fighter has, you have your basic attack cards, but then you have your unique character cards, and you make a pair. And there's a lot to it, but it's we're about to get into, at the time of this recording, the advanced characters, and Jesus Christ, some of them are just. There's one I know that's on there. He's all about predicting what your opponent is going to play, and if you get it, then he's buffed. It's insane. Not saying all 90 characters are good, but there are 90. That sounded like I was shitting on the game, but the experiences that you can get, like I still have it, but this game can be very frustrating because it's basically perfect knowledge. And so if everything of what your opponent has like to play is available to you, you just have to try and outthink them in what pairing they might do. And if you're the one getting outthought, it can feel, at least for me, very personal. And so it's just like, I'm so stupid. That's just what it can feel like if you're just getting your ass beat. So that's my number 68 BattleCon.
Yeah, I've only played this one a couple of times. And I know they fixed some of the stuff we've talked about, but the whole finisher concept kind of threw me off back when I first played it.
Yeah, the finisher in the original, the finisher was you had to have less than 7 health. Now they've included a token that you accumulate every round called focus. And once you have enough focus that equals your life, you can then do your finisher. But you can never have more than 10 focus. So you can try to, I mean, you have 20 health. So you can try to never use your focus the entire fight, wait till you get to 10 health and then spend 10 focus to do your ability, like your finisher. But the problem with the finishers are once you play that card to then do your finisher, if you miss, that's it. You wasted your turn. It is kind of like using an ultimate in Marvel versus Capcom or something like that. But in this one, it just never feels worth it. Like I feel like I can do a lot more damage if I just play a regular pair than try and use my finisher.
Right.
So, and there's a few finishers that are weird. They're like buffs. Oh, for the remainder of the fight, you deal 3 more damage or whatever it might be. But it's like, well, the remainder of the fight's like 2 rounds. I have 3 health. I'm getting my ass kicked, so I'm not going to pick that finisher. The finishers still kind of suck, but if you can pull it off and hit, then it's pretty amazing.
All right.
Now the game for everyone is basically my entire spiel of what I just wasted your time with.
All right. My number 68.
And can you talk, you're 68, can you talk for like a couple minutes? I don't want to wait.
No, this one will be pretty quick, I think. My 68 it's kind of staying steady. It was 65 2 years ago, and it was 69 last year. So, it's just all like right here at the same stuff. You don't care for this game a whole lot. I do, and that's Seven Wonders Duel.
Damn, it went up. It went up even after that expansion.
Yeah, because I mean, just because it's an expansion. I mean,
I was just hoping it would sour your taste on the whole game.
That expansion wasn't my favorite by any means. I mean, it's not that I won't ever play it, but whenever my wife and I play this, it's usually with the Pantheon and this. This is just a fast way of playing Seven Wonders with 2 people. And Seven Wonders being one of my wife's favorite games, this was kind of a no-brainer for just having the 2 of us play. And it does take up less table space. It's a little tedious when you're setting up the
cards,
design of the cards and stuff like that, but it has all virtually the same mechanics as the other one. I mean, you can burn cards for money, you can do all this and that and everything. It's just they tried to do a 2-player version in the original core box. It wasn't the greatest.
I don't know. I know one person who would very much beg to differ.
Yeah. But this is one that's will always be on here just because of the theme of it and being a 2-player game. It gets played a lot throughout the year. I mean, I almost wish they would come out with a version that was full-size cards, though. I mean, just because. I mean, I know that's tedious, but those little cards kind of drive me crazy sometimes.
Yeah. This one, it had been a while since I had originally played it, and I always touted that I didn't like it. You and I tried it again. Very much didn't like it. Then you got the expansions, and I'm like, you know what? because the second time or the first time that you and I tried it, I was like, okay, maybe I went in thinking it was going to be different, and so that's why I had such a visceral reaction. So then the one that we uploaded, the run through and the discussion, I was a lot more level headed. I still very much do not like this. I don't know why. I love Seven Wonders, and this one, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's more apparent that you can get dicked over because you don't know what's in your opponent's hand when they're drafting. So you don't know if they're hate drafting you. Whereas in this one, you can visibly see that I need something, and I can see I need that card, and it just so happened to be the one that got flipped over, so I can't even get a chance to take it. And obviously, it's just more like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it. And it's like, I don't know, the 2-player thing, it feels more personal to me. I mean, I will say the Pantheon expansion is inherently makes the game better. What was the other one? Agora. Yeah. That one I don't really remember too much.
It was dealing with the Senate and trying
Yeah,
to.
well, I don't remember my thoughts on it. I don't think I ever really cared.
I think you liked it better than I did, but I
think so. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You had a little bit more control, I think, over what you're able to do, but it was still just another auto win that I don't feel you have a lot of control over who can get that. If the cards happen to come out on a particular player's turn every time, then it's like, okay. I don't know. This one just definitely isn't for me. But it is funny though that people did tout the 2-player variant in the first edition, and then the second Seven Wonders, it's not even included. It literally says 3 to 7 on it.
Yep.
Which is funny. That even the designers were like, nah.
Well, they wouldn't want to do that because then people would buy this game if they wanted it.
That's exactly. I was about to say that. It's a marketing thing. Yep.
So anyway, that's my 68. It's kind of staying steady throughout the last few years.
Sweet. Well, I mean, you're nothing but consistent. All right. My number 67 was 31 last year. So I'm noticing a trend. All the ones that fell in this segment fell pretty hard, which is I think it was high because I think it came out that year. But I haven't played it a whole lot. I have played it this year, 2021. And it's still a blast. It's so good. Very fun, but I do wish it had some more maps, and that is Project Elite. This is one of the strangest games, because I think the first edition of this, if I'm not mistaken, the designer or the Kickstarter went like really poorly, and the designer got like super harassed by, of course, the very ever-present, trolls of the internet, that he quit designing. He literally just gave up because it's like, why would I would. It's like, I don't, like, dear God. But eventually Simon was able to pick up the licensing, and then they did a Kickstarter, and it was still kind of in Kickstarter hell. And eventually you got everything. But this is a real-time, kind of like tower defense. You have aliens coming down a wave that you have to run out into the field and kill them while rolling dice, potentially locking up dice, jamming guns. Very much, it is so atmospheric. Like, you're so involved in this game the entire time. And then once the timer's up, then you can be like, whoo, and you feel good almost every single time. Like, every spawn phase, like, there's just a wave of baddies, and then at the end, if you rolled well, then it's just like, oh man, like, you just have a pile of these miniatures that you've annihilated, some bosses that you've came in and killed, and then missions that you've completed. But you're just involved the entire time, and it's such a fun experience. Like, I think this is even one of those games that, like, you tried and you're not a huge fan of real-time games, but it has that ebb and flow. Like, part of it is real time, then the strategy and the upkeep of everything is not. So you only have to worry about a certain, like, 2-minute period of rolling dice, and then it's like, okay, pause. Now let's see what the cards do. Let's spawn them. Let's just do all that. And then, all right, everyone ready? And then you go again and start running out and just gunning, demons and bugs down. It's a lot of fun. And I've only really actually ever tried the core map. I haven't tried the Death Maw or the alien spaceship. I haven't tried any of that. I did try the mechs, like the super soldiers. They have like a disability, but they have a really powerful gun. That was pretty challenging, but also really cool. So yeah, that's my number 67, Project Elite.
Could you imagine trying to play this game solo?
Absolutely not, because then I'd throw it away. Yeah, you have to like control 2 people and like roll dice for. Oh my god, no,
nuts.
there's no way.
Yeah,
no
that's
way.
the only reason. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the solo variant is you supposed to control 2 people.
I believe so.
Yeah,
you probably just roll one set of dice for both of them and use it for both. I wonder.
That's probably it.
I mean,
that would make it a lot more manageable, I think.
Yeah. This was a fun one. I just never did dive into it because I wasn't really sure how much it would get played, and the solo part of it just seemed kind of a little overwhelming with the real-time aspects and stuff. But
gotcha.
All right. Well, my number 67 is one of my new ones to the list. And it has a god-awful, boring-ass box cover. And you haven't played it. I like war games. And
I know what it is immediately.
And this was one that I had always heard about, and the solo gaming community was like, this is the best war game you can get into that's simply with card based and all that stuff. So I dove in, and it's very, very good. It's very, very strategic, and it's definitely has a learning curve. And that is Warfighter, the World War II tactical combat card game.
Old 1999 PC game cover. Yeah. That's what this looks like.
Well, and it's a DVG, the Danvers Games company, so that all they do is pretty much war games and all this old stuff.
Yeah.
But this one, it's kind of hard to explain. This would have been a good one to have a picture of the card art and stuff. But it's like the card art is all like the black and white. Some of it is actual photography from World War II that they've put on the cards, some like photographs that were taken. And then so pretty much what you do is it's a scenario based card game. So you're going to when you pick your scenario, you get to pick, one or more soldiers depending on what the scenario is, and you get to outfit them and all that stuff. Well, the soldiers all have real names. You outfit them how you're going to with different skills and weapons and gear and those kind of things. You run through that mission. Very difficult. It's not an easy game to win at all. The rule book, whenever the game comes out for this, like it's a warfighter system. So they have modern, they have World War II. They even have a fantasy one.
I'm looking at that. Yeah.
But it all uses kind of the same war mechanics. So like when you get a box of this, the rule book is like 100 pages long. I mean, but it's all the stuff from all the games. So I mean, it's for all of them. But the thing that's overwhelming when you get a game like this is there's so much terminology that it comes with a really solid paperboard reference sheet, but it is like 3 sheets that you unfold, and it's front and back of terms. Jeez. You thought Too Many Bones had a lot of terms. This one blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
And it's all real stuff, the suppression and all that stuff. It's got when you shoot your weapon, you get to choose if you're running it semi-auto or auto or all that stuff, and it changes how you attack and all that stuff. It's very in-depth. This is not a light game. We've played Undaunted and we've played Memoir 44. This is like those on steroids.
Gotcha.
Um,
So
but
I guess my question is, so yeah, I don't like Memoir 44 and Undaunted was okay at best. Would I like this one?
I don't know, I mean, I can't, I'm not sure because there's so much overhead in learning the game that I'm not sure. I'm just not sure because there is dice resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so like a lot of the cards, there will be levels. So it's not necessarily like if you need a 6 to hit. Oh, I didn't roll a 6. Well, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
This
Like
when you
there's
roll,
like
there's levels.
one
You
of
know,
these pictures has it's one of the Nazi officers. Yeah, you roll 3 or less is a miss, 4 to 7 is 1 wound, 8 to 9 is a 3 wounds, and 10 plus is a kill.
right. So I
I
mean,
mean, I
there's
don't. That's fine.
right,
Like,
right.
at least you have a chance of kind of winging someone versus an
Mhm.
all or nothing.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I mean, this is a bear to learn. We were talking about tough games to learn. This
Mm-hmm.
one, that's why it's a totally cooperative game, but that's why the solo community really goes with it because it's really a good solo game.
Gotcha.
You play, you make your team up and you go with it. The thing with this system, like we had said, there's the modern stuff, which I want to try eventually, but the World War II, there's just so much. Like what I have this one, and then there's a World War II Pacific
That's
one.
the box cover that I've seen.
Yeah, so the Pacific one deals with the, like Okinawa and Japan and over in the Asian part of it. And then they just kickstarted a couple months ago the like the North Africa and Mediterranean parts of it and stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
have this huge ammo box. It looks like a big ammo box and it's a card storage. So it looks like it's this huge box that holds all these cards and stuff in it and everything. And it's, if you are looking for a very, very in-depth, realistic World War II experience, I mean, go for it, but it's expensive as hell. I'm a completionist, shocking. But I made a cart and try to do this. And for a card game, I mean, I was pushing $1,000.
God.
So I'm just like, no, because if you look at any place, like there's so many little expansions,
Yeah, I'm seeing
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've chosen to focus on America, Russia, Britain, and Germany for this theater and not deal with any of the other stuff, just because. But what ends up happening is when you buy these sets, you can actually control other countries and go after, like you can mix and match, like you can control the Nazis and attack somebody else, or you can control the Russians and go after, so it's like it's you can kind of choose what deal, and they all have their own named soldiers and all of their photography art and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's a pretty neat game. I'm glad I jumped into it. It's definitely a solo experience. So if you're looking for something like that, go for it.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to give it a shot because I love the idea. And there's one I think I pulled out of the Kickstarter, but it's called, I don't know if you've seen it, but I think it's called War Room. Is that what it's called? Yes. So look up War Room. And this looks like Axis and Allies advanced. But I love thematically the idea of kind of being that guy that's overlooking like those maps and deciding how to move forces and trying to strategize and be tactile about warfare. And so that's why I keep trying these skirmish games or these war games, but so far none of them have landed, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Like I think the reason I don't necessarily care for the global scale stuff. Like I like the more, I think that's why I like this card game, because you feel attached to your character, like because it's like you have a small squad going in and everything, like the whole global stuff is kind of over my head. But I bet it's good. I mean, hell, the guy made Axis and Allies. I mean,
I have no idea if that's the guy. I just think
I think it says Larry Harris, renowned Axis and Allies designer.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. War Room, a deluxe global World War II game. So, yeah, I don't know. That's something that I could definitely see myself getting behind, but oh well. All right. My number 66 was 54 in 2019 and 20 in 2020. And it fell dramatically. I couldn't tell you why. Just I haven't played as much, actually, even though I still buy every little expansion that they release. Although I feel like they're done. I haven't seen a big box expansion for this yet. And that is Smash Up. Smash Up is, I mean, it's been a staple. Like, it's one of the very first games I ever played. And then it's been in my collection forever. And now I have the bigger, geekier box that has everything in it. All the cards are sleeved. I have every, not promo, but their individual packs that they release. I have all of those. Yeah, I have pretty sure I have everything for this that you can get like retail. And it's a blast. Like, I love the unique, well, I can't necessarily say uniqueness of every faction because they all do kind of at this point feel the same, but the fact that each faction does theoretically play different and you just pick two of those, shuffle them into a deck, and you try to control as many areas, get them to a breaking point to be the first one to 15 points. I think it's 15.
It depends on the player count, I think.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
I think so.
But I mean, the combinations feel endless with this one. Just I mean, you can just pick one faction. Like, I mean, here you have robots, dinosaurs, wizards, aliens, gnomes, pirates, like that's ninjas. I don't know if I already said that, but they all have different ways that they kind of play, and some of them can score points, ways to buff their other minions, kill other minions. Excuse me, but it is technically an area control game, and each base has a certain number of victory points that you get if you're the first, second, or third person when the base breaks with the most power. And those bases have different abilities, and they're usually all themed around the factions that are coming in the expansion deck. But it feels cool, even if, like, whenever you look at a new deck and you're like, oh man, that power feels like I've seen it in every other deck. I feel like that they probably just put staples in every deck, and then you have other cards that are unique. The latest one that came out was the Knights of the Round Table, which is that's just now something that I have. But I do thoroughly enjoy this one. I think it's just really cool with all the different, completely different factions to, oh, hey, who do you want to play? Or I just pick a randomizer. Like, I have a randomizer on my phone, and you just be like, okay, well, let's just go ahead, and because you can put in all the expansions and number of players. Oh, there's 4 players. Okay, player 1's the Miskatonic University and Kaiju. Player 2 is Bear Cavalry and Rock Stars. Player 3 is Zombies and Warriors, and player 4 is Star Roamers and Disco Dancers. It's like, what? And then you just see how those decks play. So I have done 2 tournaments. I don't tournament game ever, but I've done 2 tournaments. And both of them I come in second. But it's still fun because everyone just knows the wackiness of this game. It doesn't get like too competitive. In fact, everyone's more just like the one of them I did at Gen Con, and it was a round robin draft, and I happened to sit at the end, so I'm the last one to pick, but then the first one to pick. And by the time the box gets to me, I'm looking and I'm like, no one picked these. Okay, I don't know anyone here. So I picked wizards and gnomes. And I remember I went to we were all kind of talking. It was a 4-player game.
You're
and
the asshole.
That was pretty much their response. Everyone's like, oh, what'd you pick? What'd you pick? And whenever I told them, they're like, you're a dick. I'm like, no one picked them. So I'm just I didn't win. I didn't expect to, but boy, was I annoying. Came in second. I think I lost to Killer Plants and Pirates. I think it's who got first place. But
I will always try zombies. Always.
always.
Yep, zombies are my favorite, and then I mix them with whatever.
Yeah. This one. So Brad and I are like I'm compiling really a list of ranking lists. I think that's something that is something that we can do for the channel. And one of them is an idea is to do all smash up factions, but I don't know. I don't know if I can.
You could
Or if
probably
it's
do top 10 or 15. Good and
yeah, there are. Oh God, how many are there? 30, 40?
More
Let's
than that,
see.
I bet.
You think?
Yeah.
How many total smash up factions are there? Oh, 84.
That sounds about right.
Yep. There are 84, which can combine to form 3,486 unique pairs of factions. So, which once again, I don't know how unique. That's kind of why I haven't really dove into ranking those factions, just because I feel like by 20, like you've played 20, you're going to be like, they're all the same. So,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe we'll just maybe we'll do one of those tier lists, and just put them all in there and just kind of talk about them and put them in S to F rank.
Yeah, we can do that.
That might be better. Let's do that. Anyway, smash up. I actually think this is one that best with 3.
Oh yeah, by far. Very
So,
much so.
That's 66.
All right. So my number 66 is one that has fallen a bit. Probably just because it hasn't been played a whole lot. It was 23 a couple of years ago, 38 last year, 66 this year. I really enjoy this one. This is one that I played first with you. It's in the same universe as another game we both like. And that's Empires of the North.
Nice.
This one's mainly up here. I like the gameplay of it, but I really like how they approach the solo scenarios, like how they have the scenarios for each of the factions when they come out and stuff like that. You kind of set up differently. You do this, you're trying to complete stuff. It's what I wish Imperial Settlers had. Something more like that instead of just beat your score against the barbarians.
Yeah.
But this one's unique just because of, when you choose your I guess faction or country or whatever you want to call them, they actually have 2 decks that you get to choose from that. They're pre-built. And there are some, difficulty wise, there's some obviously that are easier than others. When we played, the first time I picked a faction that was just crushing it with money and everything, and that's been a long time ago.
That was a while. Yeah. Like
in your old house.
yeah. At least 2 years ago.
Yeah, at least, but seems like longer. But yeah, this one, if you like Imperial Settlers, this is in that same universe. It's got the same art. The card art is, the cards look a lot similar. You're going to get a lot of the same feel, but then there's a little more player, not more, but there's a different kind of player interaction where you're moving around that little, whatever you want to call it.
It's not a rondelle, but the action selection circle.
Yeah, so that was something that makes this game different from the Imperial Settlers, is the action selection stuff, because that one you were just paying to put cards down and on. This one has different stuff. You have your ships and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just neat, the different factions they came out with. I think the last one just came out this year, was the Egypt one.
Yeah.
Or not this year, 2021.
I know, right? I'm just gonna keep saying this year.
But and they all play really well, and I like the idea that they each have the 2 decks. So there's a couple different ways to play that faction instead of just being hyper focused on one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the solo scenarios are what kind of puts this up there, because it
yeah, they have a new expansion coming out this year.
Which one was it?
The Lighthouse one.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yep, that's the solo only campaign.
Yep. Yep, I forgot about that one, but yeah.
Wrath of the Lighthouse. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
so that one will be really neat, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is we've already done this list far enough down, and if you've watched all the other stuff, you haven't seen Imperial Settlers yet. Last year, this was higher than Imperial Settlers.
Hmm.
So we'll see what is transpired.
Yeah. So spoiler warning. This will probably be talked about later because I think you and I are still going to do the top, like the next 100. But spoiler alert, neither are actually in my top 100. But this is higher than Imperial Settlers, at least right now, by a significant amount. Actually, I was just kind of looking it up. Empires of the North is sitting at 140, and Imperial Settlers is sitting at 168. And I think the reason why is because that action selection, I do think is inherently better in the fact that your resources don't just weirdly go away. Like in Imperial Settlers, it's like, oh, every new round, all right, they're all just gone all of a sudden. You didn't use them. And it's like, wait, why?
Right.
And then this, they stay, but you have to go out and farm or harvest to get those resources. It just feels more like an engine that, and every faction does immediately feel different. Yeah, this one feels a little bit more engine buildy than Civ buildy, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, and yeah, the solo was, I mean, I like both, honestly, but I do like beat your own score because those never inherently change the game. You just kind of play the game. And those are my favorite solo variants. But yeah, so far, I do not remember the Egypt. I have all of them, but I don't. It's why it wasn't on my top 5 expansions of 2021. It was considered, but I was like, I don't fucking remember any of what they
I haven't
did.
played the Egypt one yet.
I remember liking them. I did a review over it, but apparently, as soon as I did the review, it just, the Men in Black came in and we're just like, boop. So I have to replay them. But so far, my favorite faction is actually from the base game. It's the Bankers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're my favorite. But oh my god, this would be a good one to rank. I'm just gonna do a stupid ranking list for every for every game that has a list that I can make. But this could be fun. But yeah, so no, this is a good one. I do enjoy this. All right. Let's see. I do hate the name though. It's a branding thing and it's stupid. It needed to just be called Empires of the North. Not that stupid tag. Like Rapid Response didn't need pandemic on it. It's like it's nothing like it.
Well, and I
Anyway.
don't understand the Empires of the North because they're starting to get stuff that's not even in the North.
I know. It's like, I mean, maybe since it's a globe, everyone's to the north at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. My number 65 was 13 in 2019 and 78 in 2020. So it has gone up. But this used to be my favorite game of all time. And just, I haven't played it in probably 2 years, even though I did finally get a wooden, like Etsy is a godsend when it comes to like board game stuff because someone finally made a storage solution for this. And so as I was putting everything up, I was like, man, I really want to play this. No one talks about it. No one likes it. I love it. I loved it. I even did a top 10 reasons why I love the game, and I did a top 10 expansions for the game. And that is Talisman. I think, well, one, I mean, nostalgia and subjective is, of course, with any of these lists. This was the very first game I played that got me into the board gaming hobby. It was my number one for a lot of reasons because it truly was. And then as years went on, as I kept playing more and more games, it was number one because of that kind of reason. And eventually I just kind of took that out of the equation. And therefore it fell back. I think I'm coming to the point where a lot of people talk about games, especially fantasy games, in a negative light. Oh, it's generic fantasy. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, it's like you either have to have this unique, and it's not even unique anymore. Nothing's unique under the sun. It's just like some bullshit fantasy world that someone's created that is a slog to try and get. It's like, oh man, another world I have to try and wrap my head around. Or that's one end of the spectrum. And then the other end is, oh, it's generic fantasy, so therefore it's bad. I don't think I'm right in the middle. I don't mind. I just love fantasy. And one of the truest to fantasy, I tout this Talisman. Like if I'm probably doing the top 10 fantasy games that's not D&D, it's
Right.
probably going to be this one. The mechanics are clearly outdated. It's roll to resolve, but there's just something that I love about exploring. Like we're going around just drawing cards to see what comes up, fighting, building up your character. There's like 60 plus something characters in the game that you get followers, you get items. It feels like a very condensed, clean, I mean, D&D. There's no overarching story, but like, yeah, the goal is to just level up, get to the middle, and then cast a spell, and that's how the game ends. You just try and kill everyone off. I've played this with so many people. Everyone that I've played it with thoroughly enjoys it. I've even had people years later outside of college, like who would hit me up and be like, man, remember when we used to play Talisman? And I'm like, I do. Some of the best gaming moments, the different corner expansion boards are unique and just very fun to go into and just see what happens. I love cards, like, and this one has that. Yeah, the roll to resolve sucks. It's stupid. And like everyone has that tired ass joke of, oh, fantasy Monopoly. It's like, no, that probably already exists. Like, just because you have it, you go around a board, but you don't
Right.
own property. Yeah, this one, it's always gonna, I don't foresee this ever coming off my top 100. I won't allow it. If I do the pub meeple thing and it's not in there, I'm redoing it. So it will always be in my top 100. And I have a blast every time I play it. So that's my number 65 Talisman.
All right. So my number 65 is one that's when this list was created. It was created prior to us giving it a couple of deep dives.
Oh, so it shouldn't be this high.
It probably would be a little lower.
Okay.
But the expansion would maybe keep it right up here. So I'm going to kind of throw the expansion in with this just to kind of keep it steady.
I'm curious. I actually don't know what game it is.
You don't care for it.
Oh, okay. Well.
And that's.
Oh, hey.
This was one that, I had up here because I had played it a few times, but then, we kind of dove into it and found some, not too fun things about it.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the Reinforcements expansion, which made everything solo play. And that just kind of saved it. So that's why I will just keep it at this spot, thanks to the expansion.
Gotcha.
You're just running through this one a lot like my Warfighter from a couple picks ago. This is a much lighter random fest of that you deck build. You're trying to fulfill your scenario, whatever that may be. So you're drawing cards, you're playing cards to activate or do different things with your soldiers, and then you roll dice to try to hit. You're tossing d10s, and it's just kind of,
that's it.
It's randomness on randomness, and that's it. But when you're playing it solo, though, it seems to, because you can play through these games so fast that
yeah, you can cheat when you're playing solo too.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, oh, I hit him. Yay.
But it doesn't have any miniatures in it. It's just discs, and everything. So it's very simplistic. The tiles are small, so it doesn't take up a ton of space.
Mm-hmm.
Even the biggest map scenarios don't take up a lot of space. But yeah, the Reinforcements expansion kind of saved this. And that's why it's going to hang. That's why it currently is hanging at 65. Warfighter will probably pass this.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Once you get through that 100-page rule book.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. But yeah, that's my 65.
Yeah, this one just man, I felt nothing. Even like the first game that we ever played felt the most balanced out of all the ones that we did. And I just just don't like roller resolve. It's like I get it. Like in war, you either hit or you didn't. Like
Right.
totally, that very much makes sense. But it seems like that war fighter is kind of like, well, you can nick people. You don't have to just outright kill them every time. At least if you roll a 4, you kind of wing them.
Right.
Like so, I'll take at least some chance of hitting over none.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. By the time, well, maybe not actually. This one might go up before our discussion, but you'll hear about all that. All right, good deal. My number 64, Rose. It was 60 in 2019 and 67 in 2020, so it stayed around this area. This is one that I'm pretty sure they're just going to do every single continent as an expansion, and I hope they do because this is a extremely solid engine building game that should not have worked. I believe it was one of the first. If it's not the first, then it was definitely the first one to gain popularity. And you actually mentioned it not too long ago, and that is Wingspan.
Yep.
I have heard and I've seen pictures of engines almost like, I want to say a meta, like, but not really, because you have to get those specific cards. But I've seen people who have like a stack of like of buried birds. It's basically the whole bird deck, and I'm just like, what kind of monstrous bird do you have? And someone's like, is this legal? And I'm like, I would like read through the comments, and it's like, yeah, technically you can get those types of cards, but from Elizabeth Hargrave as a designer, like you can definitely tell she had a lot of passion behind this. I love how every single bird is different and has their own, not necessarily ability. There are similar abilities, but they all have their own like fact about them. That just that's always fun to just. And one of the newest games that came out in 2021 that almost made the list is called Meadows. And Meadows has a similar concept. It's not about birds, it's about nature in general, but it has a separate book index where like on the card, because they're tiny cards, it'll say like C03, and you find that and it'll give you a little factoid. I just love facts, and so small snippet of just little snack size little facts is just charming. The art is sexy as hell, and the game is really, really good. Very tight. It's one of those that you get more actions. No, you get less actions as the game goes on. With two different types of ways to score like end game victory points. Like you can do the one where it's competitive of like who has the most eggs or whatever. Oh, that person gets 5 points. Or you can just do how many birds above a 50-foot wingspan or something, or whatever the general public goals are. It's like, oh, I have 5. Oh, I also have 5, and then everyone will get 5 points. We also have end game objectives. They are trying to get certain birds into your habituary. Both of those sound wrong. What am I trying to say?
It is. My word.
So fucking stupid. What is it? It is
habitat.
We'll just gonna say habitats. I think I took habitats in obituary. Your obituary. You're killing birds is what you're doing. God, it's a 5:46. I'm going to bed. Yeah, this one is, everyone talks about it. It is easily, I think, Stonemeyer's most sold game.
It hit over 1 million copies, I think.
Yeah. Because, and it actually is one of the major reasons why Stonemeyer came under flack, because they're just like, you don't give a fuck about your consumers. You don't keep any game in stock. And it's like, no one would have stocked this game 1 million copies.
Right.
Like this, because no one thought this was going to succeed. And even Jamie will be like, hey, well, how about you buy some of my Between Two Castles games that I still have in storage that I'm paying for? It's like, that game should have sold, and it didn't. This one did. So yeah, one of my gaming groups, every game day, which is like on Saturdays, they always play this. Like they will literally, like two people will just go off by themselves and just play this. So it's extremely solid. And the 2 expansions are fantastic. The new one added Nectar, which was like a
Yes.
wild,
Yep.
which I think Tom Vassell talked about, and I kind of agree with him. The nectar kind of made it a little too easy to get because it's a wild and you can just easily get nectar. But love the different birds. I'm really, really hoping the next expansion is Asia.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I think Asia might be next. Then they're gonna do Oceania, and it's just gonna be penguins. Just different types of
Okay.
penguins, I'm hoping. Who else is next? Africa.
Yeah.
No, they just did
They
Oceania.
already
didn't
did
they?
Oceania.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was the
never mind.
nectar one.
Sorry, Antarctica. Yeah, Antarctica, which will just be penguins. Africa, Asia, South America. I think that'll be it.
Yeah. No, there's an app.
No, what am
Oh.
I missing? I'm missing another. Australia.
Yeah. There's an app.
That's Oceania. I'm so stupid. Just leaving.
There's an app for this that Chad showed me that uses your phone camera, and you can scan the card and it will do the bird noise.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I'll look it up and I'll give it to you.
sweet.
But yeah, you scan the card and it actually makes the bird sound.
Oh my god, that's so cool. You're just
I
gonna
haven't
have
used
people
it yet,
playing
but-
this game, and then it's like, dude, it's your turn. Hold on, I gotta hear what all my birds sound like.
So yeah, no, that's a good one for sure. And this was one that I just got introduced
Oh,
to.
it's called Wing Song. Found it.
Okay, this is the I just got introduced to this in 21.
Nice.
So it's definitely a good one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it is, but no, there's no way I put Mariposa's higher. Her other game, Mariposa, is about butterflies. That's a really, really good one too. Surprisingly thanky. Yeah,
All right.
it's not on the list. Anyway, yeah, you can go to your
All right.
64.
All right, my number 64 is a game that's been on my list for a while. It was 52 2 years ago, 61 last year, 64 this year. I need to get the expansion to kind of rejuvenate it a little bit, but it's one of my wife's favorite games, and that is Baron Park.
I am very surprised this is actually still on your list.
Yeah, it's
Not that it's bad.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, it kind of felt like people were like Baron Park, and then everyone's like, man, what was that game called?
yeah, no, this is still, the whole polyomino thing, and the way you build out your park, and because you start with these tiles, and these tiles have different things on them, like excavators or different things, and when you cover them up, that lets you choose certain types of tiles to add to your bank to get ready to build. And if you happen to land on certain deals, it'll let you get a new tile. So you can kind of spread up to, I think, 4 tiles. I think it's the max you can build your park. But you get, there's a bear statue in the middle of each tile. And if you can completely fill in every space on the tile, except for the bear space, you get a bear coin. And they're organized in victory points from high to low. So the first person that does it gets the high point, and it goes down from there. And you're just building all these weird shaped deals. There's basic ones, there's bathrooms, there's parks, there's little square ones or 2 square ones to fill in spots, but then there's these really big, nice, fancy ones, or the facilities for different types of bears that you can put out, and they're worth points. And it's a puzzly game, obviously, because you're just trying to fit everything as compact as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of set yourself up for some big plays by getting the right shape thing and dropping it, and you may be able to get 2 or 3 tiles because of what it covers up, and stuff like that. So you can kind of set yourself up for plays like that. The expansion adds some stuff that I still need to get it. It adds like the monorail and stuff like that. It kind of gives it a little more
pandas
stuff.
Did it add pandas?
Yeah,
Pandas already
Grizzlies.
in. Oh yeah,
it was Grizzlies and
okay.
and that, but yeah, it's a very simplistic game, but the worst part about this game is the stupid box storage. the worst. I mean, if you're gonna get this
Wasn't
game,
it like a piece of paper or
it's like a
something?
cardboard. It's a cardboard thing that just goes from corner to corner.
That's right.
That's it. So all your tiles are like just all over the damn place.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a really good game. I mean, it's super simple, so you can get as almost a gateway kind of style of game, but then it is thinky enough for gamers, you know, to set out. This is one of those that my wife kicks my butt in all the time because she's better with spatial awareness stuff than I am. But
I've heard that. Yeah.
yeah. So but yeah, so anyway, this one's one that'll probably always be around just because it actually gets played quite a bit throughout the year. So Baron Park.
Yeah, this is a good one. Very gateway into the polyomino genre, which I very much like. But I don't have it. All right. My number 63 is new to the list, and this is going to seem very, very strange because it's also been a little bit since I've played it. I've actually played the other game in this series more recently, but this one is higher. Because I think at the time I was like, no, I like both of them, but the other one just got an expansion, but this one is currently on Kickstarter for 2 expansions. So we'll see. And that is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. So the expansion being Paladin, or the other game being Paladins, was, I just looked it up. It was number something. 91. But so Viscounts of the West Kingdom is a rondel game, and it utilizes like 2 different paths around this rondel that you have like a guy on a horse that's kind of like your worker that you're moving around to do various actions. So that is already itself enticing. And what's really unique is I don't think, did Architects have cards? No, it just had all those workers, right? You didn't have like a deck of cards.
Oh, gosh, it's been forever since I played it.
Right.
I want to say there was cards, but
because Paladins has that unique system of the deck of cards that you draw 4, put one on top, put one on bottom, get rid of the wall, or depending if you have the expansion. This one includes a little bit more deck building, but you actually have like a track that you are organizing your deck that's going to run, and those cards are basically going to dictate what you are able to do. And this is a very, very fascinating system. Both this one and Paladins have very cool card play that kind of dictate your overall strategy, at least in terms of like what you can do on your turn. There's also a middle component with a castle that you're doing some area control, that you're trying to put your own workers in one layer, then spread them out, because you're trying to, if I remember right, only a certain number of workers can be in a section, and once that's filled, they move out and then some move up, and those are worth various points. But there is just so much, or so many avenues to victory in this one and in Paladins. Like, if I had to guess, really, they're probably like similar. Like, they're both like 9s out of 10s. But this one just flowed a little bit better for me. It didn't feel as restrictive as Paladins did. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I've played this, but I remember very much enjoying my time with it. I need to break this one out. I need to just give it another shot, especially because it's getting 2 expansions. So can't really say a whole lot. Like, it's technically probably robbing some other game of being in this spot, but it felt right. Like, I like this one over the whatever number after this, the previous ones that we've already talked about. So that's my number 63, Viscounts of the West Kingdom.
Yeah, I love that art. This ought to make my list just for the art.
Look at that guy. Look at him with the stupid hat. Look at why his nose looks like a leg. It looks like a.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think it's the noses on the faces of the people. The noses are so hideously grotesque. If he had a normal shaped nose, he would look fine. Because look at everything else. Like his clothing looks badass, very vibrant and colorful. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, this is the one.
Wait, hold on. Oh no, I got rid of my Miko drawing. I don't have it anymore. I should have framed it and sold it for millions of dollars.
This is the one that I haven't played out of all these games out of the last.
Next time you come up, we'll play it.
Yeah, because I've done all the others, but it's not this.
Yeah, I remember it being the same. It's the same weight. It might be. It might be a little heavier than Paladins, but they're pretty much the same.
Right.
They don't play the same, but in terms of like heaviness and liking them, they're the same.
Right. All right. So my number 63 was number 26 2 years ago. And was 71 last year. And for some reason it climbed. I don't know.
I guess for some reason it fell 50 spots.
Well, I haven't played it since the last list because I've been waiting. Because I've played out the rest of it and I'm waiting for the expansions and all that crap to come from the old Kickstarter from God knows how long ago. This is a cooperative game that has that that thing that I like to do where you play the bad guys instead of where you play the bad guys, attacking the good people. And that is Village Attacks. This one is fun to play solo with a couple of your monsters or evil people, whatever. It's pretty much a tower defense game. You're protecting the heart of your castle. The castle's being attacked by townsfolk or eventually heroes that come in that are upgraded versions of the townsfolk. They are kind of they're much more difficult to deal with. But this one has like a dice allocation system. You're placing your dice, and when you can upgrade your powers of your monsters so that when you place the dice on there and fill it up, then you get to do that ability. I always like the headless horseman guy. That's kind of my favorite one to control. But it has all your classic bad people. And I've played through all the scenarios a few times out of the base box, and then the Kickstarter had all the other stuff from the first Kickstarter on there, and that's all I did. I didn't do any of the new Asian version of it.
Grim Dynasty, I think.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. I just backed all the expansions for this original.
Okay.
Just to get that stuff, because my opinion on Japanese stuff. But
I don't know. Philosophia is turning you around.
Well, that was mechanics. When you look at this, because this game isn't the strongest mechanically. I mean, so that's why. I mean, it's up here mainly because I like playing the bad guys, and it plays well solo, and it's just kind of fun when it's all out on the table and you're seeing all your big dudes. Some of the combos you can do between your deals of shoving. Maybe you may shove a character with an ability right into the path of one of your other characters and stuff. It's a neat one. Definitely, this is definitely an under the radar game. I don't even think Grimlord Games has done anything else really besides the Village Attack stuff, but
I don't think so. I got them confused with Greenbrier.
Yeah.
They did the Everrain.
Oh, that's right, because I think that's what's taken so damn long, because they're fulfilling Everrain and finishing it up.
They're not even fulfilling Everrain.
That's why they're behind on this Village Attack stuff. But I mean, I backed this thing. God, it's been forever ago.
It's been a while. I sold my copy, and the guy I sold it to, luckily we're still in touch. But he's like, dude, are they ever gonna send that stuff? And I'm like, your address is changed. So I'm not trying to pull one over on you and be like, oh, I have the storage box. I'm not trying to do that. I don't know. I don't like the game, so I don't keep track of it.
Yeah. So anyway, That's my 63 village tax. We'll see what happens next year when and if I ever get the expansions.
Yeah, this one actually was really disheartening because Kat and I played it and very much enjoyed it. Like she liked it so much when we were gonna do just a regular game day. She's like, "Oh, can we play Village Attacks?" And then whenever we did it for the channel, it didn't click. It could have easily been that scenario. Granted, the base game has the 10 scenarios and like 4 of them are tutorials, so it's like, well, you really got 6. So that was kind of a letdown. But in that run through, I don't like the idea. It's called Village Attacks, and you can never roll an attack. Like it's very unlikely, but it is theoretically possible because I have seen it where my buddy wasn't able to attack just because he couldn't roll any. And it's a tower defense game, and it's like, well, that should just be inherent. Like you should be able to always attack, not rely on dice. So it just kind of fell flat for us.
Right.
But yeah, really cool theme and very unique monsters.
Yes.
Like that is easily a highlight of it. I think we played I think I played Krampus. She played the Leshen, because that's like from The Witcher. And then he played, I think the Frost King. It was
something like that. I know there was some Kickstarter exclusive
but
stuff.
there's a bunch. And there's a very fiddly mechanic where like if they have to split up, you have to like flip a coin and it's like heads or tails. And like it's just a very fiddly tower defense. But yeah, no, I can see why people like it. All right, my number 62 rose from last year. In 2019, though, it was 37. Last year in 2020, I guess it's not last year anymore, but was 76. So it rose up quite a bit, which is very surprising because there is not an expansion for this, but it is so solid mechanically and a cool idea thematically that, and the art cover, I love the neon vibrant like aesthetic. The ship looks stupid, but and that is Black Angel. This cover art is, take out that ship and it's gorgeous. Like it's so pretty. Whoever did the art is Ian O'Toole. I mean, come on. That's why. But this one is kind of like, from what I've heard, is a rethemed TWA. I haven't played TWA, but it has the same idea where you roll dice and your dice aren't theoretically yours. They are, but someone on their turn could pay you a gem to use your dice. So if you roll like a 6 and you're like, oh man, yeah, that's really what I needed. Someone else's turn, they're gonna be like, here's a gem, I want that. And you're just like, oh no, like what am I gonna do? And so and some people may not like that, the fact that you can hijack or steal people's dice, but it's just like, if you kind of have to change your mentality. If you go in and you're just like, let's just say you took these dice and rolled them in the general pool, then it's drafting at that point. So it's very interesting that slight tweak of mentality completely changes like how I feel about the game. But yeah, this one is very, very cool. Like you control robots. All the humans are in like hyper sleep, and the robots are the ones running and dictating everything. So you're utilizing dice to get different technologies to that give you a benefit, some type of resource. You have this little mini game where you're trying to like slot these technologies in like a 3x3 grid and eventually push them off, because you can have end game victory points for each type of technology that you've pushed. You can send those robots out on those little ships. That's what that little white thing by the main ship is, to go off to planets. And you can do like an immediate benefit, or you can stack like robots onto a spot, and whenever the robot and the planet falls off the track, you get victory points. It's a very tight game. I've scored relatively high for what I assume is this game. I think it was maybe like in the 60s or 70s. That could just be trash what other people might score. But yeah, this one, it's hard to get to the table because the people I've played it with don't like it, but I think it's also because it's a heavy game. It's a very heavy dice worker placement game. But I just love the uniqueness of the robots, the little technology mini game, the fact that your ship can take damage by reavers, I think is what they're called. You have to kind of protect it so it can damage dice, which is, and so you have to heal those. It can also damage the ship. So it's semi-cooperative in that nature, because I think if the ship takes too much damage, it just blows up. But it's a really good one. So if you're looking for a dice worker placement game, and a heavy dice worker placement game, then I would definitely give this one a shot. This was the first one I bought at Gen Con whenever it came out that year.
Yeah. So if they're really called reavers,
I'm pretty sure they are.
Then I'm calling shenanigans, man, because that's a ripoff of Firefly.
It is also, hold on. I think that's what they call the aliens in Mass Effect. All right, let's see.
But you know what? You're right.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, it doesn't say in the description. It just says take advantage of art to maintain with your. Oh no, that's alien species. Oh man, hold on. I can't find it. I really want to. I'll do some research while you talk about your 60, your 62.
All right, perfect. So my 62 is, I guess, technically new to the list. It is a second addition to a game that has spent a lot of time on my list over the years. And it just came out this last year. And it's going to be a good one. I think you like it better than the original. You like it much better than the original one.
yeah, because I hated the original and I like this one. So.
Right. The original Summoner Wars is kind of, it's fallen off. Obviously, I didn't even really consider it now since this one's out.
Right.
Even though that was one of my favorite games ever. But
hold on real quick.
Yep.
Ravager.
Okay, so they got close.
Yeah. All right. I was like, man, are they called Reavers? That's a total ripoff from multiple IPs apparently.
Yeah.
Ravagers.
All right. So on this one, this second edition master set, they throw 6 factions at you. They've rebalanced, they've kind of refinagled what they are, they've changed the summoners, but overall they've changed the gameplay mechanics to make it a better experience, I think, overall. And whether it's the most obvious one in my opinion is the dice. It was just straight D6 in the original one. So if it was like most of them, they would hit on 4+, I think, or 3+. I can't remember right now, but
it was I think it was 50-50. I was thinking it was 4 to 6.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, I hated it because I rolled ones all the time. So I'm like, great.
Yeah. So it went from straight D6 and low hit point units to higher hit point units, but the dice hit more often. So the dice have, I think there's 3 different symbols. There's the range, the melee, and then like a special symbol.
Yeah, like a surge.
Yeah. So like when you roll the dice, I mean, unless you are having the shittiest luck, you're going to at least get some sort of hit or something.
In all the games I've played of this, I think I've missed like once a game.
Right. It's
very rare.
But the exchange of that is in the original Summoner Wars, there was a lot of 1 hit point units. This one, those 1 hit point units are 2, 3, 4, so I mean, you're gonna have to still hit them. It just feels better that you're actually plinking them for a little damage instead of just completely whipping on them.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help. A lot of units still die like immediately.
Oh yeah. But then they also changed the summoning walls from the original, where you had 3 walls in your deck. You started with 1 on the board. That's the place where you summoned from. Now they have plus they had 9 hit points. Now they have portals, which I think are like 4 or 5 hit points.
They're 5, and the main one has 10.
Right. So you can you also in the original couldn't place the walls past the midpoint of the board. The portals you can, you can place them anywhere your summoner is. I mean, you can kind of go to town depending on how aggressive you want to be, and stuff. But I just really like, they retooled it. I don't care for I like the original art better. I mean, that's the only divisive thing. Some people like this better, to each their own, whatever. The gameplay outweighs it. And it looks like they're actually gonna keep doing a good job of supporting it, because it's they kind of did their own crowdfunding. They stayed away from stuff. They did their own like pre-order crowdfunding kind of goals and stuff.
What Fantasy Flight and Portal Games does.
Right. But the thing that I love about this also is that they've tied in this game with the online deal. So like, especially for like me, I don't necessarily have anybody to play with all the time, so I can hop online and play it.
I thought you were talking about the Team Covenant stuff.
Oh, no, that too. But I mean,
oh, you're talking about like their app.
I'm talking about the app thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes it, because it went hand in hand. Like when you did the subscription for this, there was that level that you got access to the online play along with it and stuff. So that makes it really neat. And it has the cool little sound effects and everything. It's and you can kind of trash talk your opponents as you're playing and stuff too on there. It's kind of,
I don't know. I got my ass kicked every time against the AI. No, I beat the first time. The first time I won. And every other time. No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused. I lose every time to Neuroshima Hex.
Yeah, Neuroshima Hex is hard.
I'm like, I think I hate this game.
Yeah.
I can't beat the AI.
But no, they run tournaments like Plaid Hat in the community around this game. They always have, even with the first edition. They'll set up online tournaments, and stuff, and then you get on there and you play and everything. I'm glad to see Plaid Hat kind of get back into their own.
Yeah.
They left those other companies. They went back as solos. They kind of going back to their roots a little bit.
Yep.
They came out with this, the next like Mice and Mystic style game is going to be coming out pretty quick.
Oh, is there another one?
Well, it's that. What is it called? It's the newest.
They had Aftermath.
This one's after this. This is a new one. It's
I don't know.
They just talked about it on Dice Tower not very long ago, and it's
I'll have to keep an eye out.
It's like something familiar, maybe, or something. I can't remember, but anyway, it seems like they're kind of getting back into their groove a little bit, since they're not answering to people and everything. So,
yeah, I really want them to do a Forgotten Waters expansion.
And that's one I haven't played yet, and I want to play that one because
it's so good. It's so funny. And I found out that one of the bigger YouTubers, he goes by, I think it's Prod Z or Prod ZD. He's a voice actor, and he did the voice acting for the first scenario.
That's cool.
Which was nice to find out. So, I can't find it. I don't know.
I'll look for it while you're doing your thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's my 62.
This one's really good. To comment, the first, at least the box cover art is atrocious. This is very much better. Mainly because it's colorful. Like this is gray and brown. And because I'm looking at it. And then this one, it's very much more high fantasy, colorful, cartoony. But all right. And the last one for this segment was 32 in 2019 and 36 in 2020. So it fell quite a bit, but that is mainly because I haven't played it. And that is Overlords of Infamy. This one has been on my list, I think, since I've started doing these top 100s. It's such a unique, well, not necessarily unique in terms of the mechanics. It is a worker placement game, but the theme just drips off of it in terms of its terminology, what you're doing, the actions are kind of like integrated into the theme, which it really goes for it. On like, go ahead.
Familiar Tales.
No idea.
2022. It says Familiar Tales. That's the next game. Just as a heads up. So it's the next one by the
That
guy
looks-
that made Mice and Mystics and all that stuff.
Okay, well, I will add this to my 2022 list.
Yep.
That looks that box. Anyway, Overlords of Infamy it's a worker placement game where you send out your lackeys, is what they call them, to basically exploit the land, getting resources that you need to then fulfill nefarious plots. They leaned very hard into the whimsy and hilarious nature of this game. The world events are very funny, pulling in effects from outside of the game in here, then game effects. It's just so funny. The nefarious plots are hilarious that as you go from knavery all the way to like the higher levels, then they get a little bit more serious. One of the expansions or explanations, examples that it seems like I had coffee or an energy. I haven't. I don't know why I'm like this.
You're getting the COVID. You're getting the COVID.
Yeah. That's the one of the symptoms is high energy. But one of the examples is like one of the knavery ones. It's like very minor. It's like make everyone's socks wet. Oh, I got them. To the higher levels where it's like blow up the moon. Which require relics and then different resources which are worth more points. But then, so everyone has like their own section with their own, villain. And then you can touch the borders between two, which then allow you to do different levels of acts of espionage against one another. That's the player interaction. There's also the hero of good, or from the kingdom of good. I can't remember. And he's just kind of like a deterrent. Every time a event goes off, then he moves around. And if he lands on a tile with other players' lackeys, he kills them. There is a variant that you can play where someone controls him. I haven't tried that, but this is set to get an expansion. Hopefully, I think the latest update was that it's gearing up to be delivered this year. But yeah, it adds where are you? Adds that will Huff the Tragic Dragon, but Pancakes the cat. So you have the corgi, Waffles. So you have Waffles the corgi, the sentient corgi, and then you also have Pancakes the cat. I love this game, and I will always owe a credit to them being the very first company to send me a prototype when they were on Kickstarter. So that was always nice. And even their prototype, I was like, this is good. Like, I'm gonna really like this. And then got my copy. It's still on my shelf. So I love it. And if you're wanting a unique theme, not a unique worker placement game, but a unique theme that drips on everything in this is definitely one to check out. That's my 61.
I have only played this one once, but I enjoyed my play. I just never have pulled the trigger to.
It does have a solo variant.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's good, but it does
right,
have one.
and that's what I need to figure out, because if it's a good solo variant, I'd probably pick it up eventually. But
yeah, I'll have to give it a shot and let you know.
All right. Well, all right. So to close out this list, this isn't and it's new to the list. It's from Osprey Games. Of all the games of this 10 that you have not played, this one has the highest chance of success of you liking it.
Okay.
By
Osprey?
Yes.
Okay.
It is very uniquely colored, unique theme. It looks busy as hell. But since
wait a minute, I liked Imperium.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But this one's not Imperium.
Okay, never mind.
But this one is one that since you like your Vital games, I mean, this one is a heavier Euro for sure. And it is Merv, Heart of the Silk Road.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, that is art and all that good stuff. But
I do like that artwork.
Yeah, and it's this one's one I just kind of bought on a whim because I heard it had a solo variant. I actually haven't even played the solo variant yet. I've actually played this with a couple other people here in town a few times, and it's just a unique game. So like if you're pulling up pictures or whatever,
I am.
So pretty much what you're doing is you are it's an economic game. So you're doing money, trying to build up and stuff, and you are your worker. You have meeples, so like you're placing meeples in the center of the board. There's this whole center of the board grid, and you're placing your workers on the outside of that grid. And when like the first worker you place isn't going to do anything, but when you place the second worker where they intersect, you get to do an action. So like think about like the multiplication charts. You go here, and then where they meet,
Yeah.
is where you get to do the actions. So like,
Oh, okay.
and so you're doing stuff like that. But so you're building up your area, your town at that point. But then there's also outside stuff happening. I can't remember the name of the stupid group that's out there. I have it right here. The Mongol hordes are outside. So you kind of have to protect the city from the invaders. But then if you're spending too much time doing that, then you lose your opportunity to you become more prosperous in your own town and stuff. If you don't protect it, then your city could be burned. But it's a weighty game. Like, you know, I haven't played any Vitala Serta games. You know that I always talk about how brain burning they are. This one is on that high level of brain burn for me. So I don't know what that would mean for you, but
well, okay. So I'm not trying to be like this elitist because I play Beetle. I'm not like, oh man, nothing scratches like my brain.
Well, no, but I know, but everybody puts that. If you play
they are the
Vital games, those are kind of your high.
They are really the bar.
Complexity. I would probably like them if I just had the patience to sit down and learn them. That's my thing. It's like, but since you have played them and I have never played a Vital Assertive, that's kind of where we go with that. But yeah, there's just so much. Like the board is so busy. There's so much stuff to do. And there's so many things to try to decide on and everything. The game that would probably be closest to look to this is one that I want to pick up as well as that Praga Kaput Regni or whatever. It's a game that came out I think last year, Euro, that has like the grandstands that you build and all that stuff at the top. It's on my list because I haven't played it, but it reminds me of this game, kind of how it looks. But yeah, this one, the board is very colorful. It fits that theme, like the cover art in this board fit right, you know, like it looks like the same dynamic and everything. But like I said,
Kickstarter?
No, it's just straight to retail. When it first came out, I saw it on online retailers and stuff and was intrigued, and then kind of waited. And then when I was at Miniature Market in St. Louis one time, and I saw it on the counter and I just nabbed it. So but it's a good one. You know, if you like those Euros with a lot of economy and stuff like that, and there is that little worker placement puzzle to it and stuff as well, this is one that you need to try out for sure.
Yeah, cool. I'll have to pick it. It looks like the board layout reminds me of like Teotihuacan.
Right.
That's kind of that's the general kind of. That's where most heavy games reside. That's a sweet spot. Beetle just takes it to an extreme.
Right.
But yeah, I'll have to definitely check this one out. Yeah.
And it's not super expensive. I mean, if you can find it, it was only like $46, $50, something like that, maybe.
Yep. I'm gonna have to give it a shot.
Yep.
All right, everyone. So that was our 10 for this segment. That was 70 through 61. I hope you enjoyed. Stick around for the next segments. We are inching closer to the top 50. But let us know what you think of these games in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.